What's up, 360? Aloha Friday. I've got the Black Rifle Coffee Aloha shirt on today. Aloha t-shirt. Also, I'm working on a quarantine goatee, so there you have it. Gonna finish up this week in Hebrews, and I'm gonna continue on in Hebrews next week because it's a great book. So hopefully if you're finding these devotionals helpful, great. If not, then no biggie. Because I find it helpful for me to talk through it and think through. So anyway, we're going to look at Hebrews chapter 3. So bust that out. It says this, and so, dear brothers and sisters who belong to God and are partners with those called to heaven, think carefully about this Jesus, whom we declare to be God's messenger and high priest, for he was faithful to God who appointed him, just as Moses served faithfully when he was entrusted with God's entire house. So this is the first of two times that he mentions in Hebrews 3 to be careful and to think carefully. So I want you to maybe today just think about that phrase and that word careful. What are situations in which you exercise caution and exercise care, right? Probably like as you're handling something dangerous, right? For me, I think about when I'm doing construction projects in the garage with my table saw, right? There's some things that could potentially happen if I don't exercise caution or care. Like I could lose a finger, or I could drop a jigsaw on my foot or something like that. There are certain moments where I have to exercise caution. If I am helping my daughter with her homework, right? One of the things that I'm always encouraging her to do when she's working on word problems, like math problems, is to read them carefully. Because if you just kind of skim over and sort of like assume you see everything, you might get the answer wrong. You might misinterpret what the problem is and the question that it's asking you to do. When I am driving, right? Obviously, especially when I'm leaving my driveway, I double check, make sure there's no kids around my car, make sure I don't make a mistake. And so the author of Hebrews here is saying, exercise caution when you are thinking about this Jesus, because and here's why he says that. And I'm going to jump ahead to verse 12, but read the whole chapter. It's good. Verse 12 says, be careful, make sure that your hearts are not evil and unbelieving, turning you away from the living God. You must warn each other every day while it is still today, so that none of you will be deceived by sin and hardened against God. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all things that belongs to Christ. Share in all that belongs to Christ. So this idea of being cautious, well, what's the reason, right? The reasons for the examples I gave earlier were, saws and sharp things. The reasons were for my daughter's homework, getting the problem wrong, maybe getting docked on your quiz or test or homework. The reason for the caution care is because, cars are big and could knock over a child pretty easily. There's a lot of kids in my neighborhood. I don't want that to happen. And the author of Hebrews is saying, hey, inside you resides a wicked and evil and unbelieving heart, or at least resides a heart that is prone toward that. He says, make sure your heart is not evil and unbelieving, because sin still is a part of our lives. And each of us is prone to wander away. Each of us is prone to have our hearts be deceptive and to turn us from God. It's like we have this propensity or this like this inclination to sort of just drift, as Hebrews was talking about in the other day, drift and wander away from God. And the author is saying, hey, you have to pay close attention, because if you're not careful, your heart is going to lead you away from God and away from the things that you were made for and the things that you were created for. And he says, you've got to warn each other every day while it is still today, so that none of you will be deceived by sin and hardened against God. Sin is deceptive. It promises things that it can't deliver. And so one of the other things I love in the book of Hebrews is this idea of you got to have each other's backs. You've got to warn each other. Don't give up meeting together. Encourage each other while today is still today. And that's what I'm trying to do here each and every day that I'm sharing a Covideo Devo, is just provide a little encouragement. So my challenge for you today is, and check your heart. Ask the people who are close to you. Maybe you were living in your house with you, obviously. Say, how's my heart appear to be? Am I prone toward the things of God, or do you see me drifting away? Check up on each other, give each other some accountability, some love, some care, because as of today, if you haven't heard, school's been canceled for the rest of the year. And so as far as church gatherings and such, it's not looking too bright in the near future in terms of meeting together, but it doesn't mean we can't continue to encourage each other and continue to provide support. And because it's only by working together and loving on each other and being there for each other that we will spur each other on toward love, toward good deeds, toward walking with Christ. So enjoy that. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you Sunday at 360. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.